Hey there everyone. So in this video I'm going to show you how to retrieve the polling results from a root cause analysis workshop from the Zoom platform. The first thing that you'll want to do after you connect to the internet is go to the Zoom page and log in using your information. So here I've gone ahead and I've logged into my Zoom platform. In order to find the polling information, you're going to want to go down to the Reports tab on the left-hand side of the screen. So we're going to click on that. And next up, when we're here, we are going to notice there are two types of reports that we can get. The meeting category does have polling reports for meetings, so we're going to click here next. Now be advised that you can only pull polling reports up to 1 month for meetings that have passed by, so you will want to make sure that you do this sooner rather than later. Typically you'll be pulling your polling results within the day of the actual polling that you do with your participants. So in this window here, you're going to select the poll report option and then of course navigate to the days wherein you would have had the polls take place. And here I see a couple of different options for the pulp and paper root cause analysis that did take place previously. So when you find the meeting where your poll results would be saved to, you're going to want to click on the Generate button. And after you click on Generate, you'll notice that the results for any different types of reports appear. You're going to want to make sure that the one that you select is the poll report. So we are going to select the appropriate one to get the results by clicking on Download. And if you're using Google Chrome, you will notice that the file will have downloaded down here at the bottom. This depends on your web browser. Either way, you will want to open the polling results in front of you. So this is what a spreadsheet containing the polling answer results on the Zoom platform looks like. And while it might appear a little bit cumbersome to you right now, if you follow the steps that I'm going to take you through, you won't have any problems with extracting the appropriate information and data from this spreadsheet. So the first thing I'm going to bring your attention to is the fact that we have everybody's names under the B column here. Okay, so these are your participants who were involved with your root cause analysis workshop, and each person will show up more than once throughout because the answers that they give to a different category set of questions in the Zoom platform will appear to the right of each other. So these are supposed to be duplicated on purpose. Now, one of the things that I want to make sure of is that I verify whose answer belongs to what whenever I copy and paste this information into the ministry template for the root cause analysis. So the first thing that we need to do is massage this spreadsheet so that it makes it easier for us to extract the information from it. I suggest using the following steps to make this happen. The first thing I want to do, because the email addresses and the date and time that they submitted their responses is irrelevant to me, is remove this information from view. You can do this by hovering your cursor over top of one of these columns, one of the useless information columns, if you will. You'll notice that your cursor turns into a black bolded arrow that's pointing downwards. And if you click on it with your mouse and maybe hold it and drag across, you'll notice that the contents of both columns has now been selected. Right-clicking beside one of these upper column letters opens your shortcut menu, and from it you will see a hide option. So if I select this, you'll notice that the email addresses and the dates have been removed from view. I do still have access to them if I want to, but we don't really need them right now. They're not the important parts. We want to focus on the ratings. So now I have the usernames next to these question stems that I haven't expanded yet, but I'll get into that in a minute. The next thing that I want to do is make sure that these names are going to appear as I work with the remainder of the spreadsheet. So this is an important piece for us to consider. To do this, follow these steps. You're going to select the entire column to the right of their names, just like I did here. You're going to go up to the View tab in Excel, and you're going to see this Freeze Panes option. Clicking on it is going to give me a drop-down menu, and I see the option, the top option, to Freeze Panes. If I click on it and I move to the right, I'm going to use my arrow keys here to show you. If I move to the right of the spreadsheet, I'll notice that those names there are staying in place even though the rest of the spreadsheet is moving. And if I move back to the left, I see the same thing. Now the next big piece to this is to expand the contents of the columns so that I can see what questions are being addressed based on each participant's response. The other thing I'm going to want to do is expand the username so that I can verify that, of course, those people were the ones who answered each question accordingly. You can do this by using these column headers again. You'll notice that the mouse takes on different icons depending on where we're positioned. If I put my cursor between the B and the E column, like you see here, remembering that email addresses and dates have been hidden from view, so now my cursor looks like a black crosshair with two opposing arrows on the left and right side. If I double click at this point, you'll see that the people's full names have shown up. And again, they're duplicated from top to bottom because each of the answers that they give for all the questions in a given category, okay, on the primary causal factors in those given categories, appear to the right of each other. The next thing I'm going to want to do is make sure that I'm getting the information about the right question or the right primary causal factor for each person. The best way to do this would be to expand using the same steps, of course, the questions so that I can see what primary causal factor each one is addressing. Now in our how-to sheet, we notice that it's probably best to put the primary causal factor in caps so that we can distinguish it from the rest of the information. So you'll notice in this case here, and I'm just going to highlight a segment of it to show you, these are the ratings that were given to this question on the importance of vulnerable workers as a primary causal factor from these individuals. What I need to do is take these values and plug them into the ministry template. So what you see in front of you is a blank template. There are sections here for the respondent names as well as for each primary causal factor. Here we have some green blocks, and these here are the places where you can put in the respondents' names so that you're able to track who said what. You're going to want to consult your Ishikawa or your fishbone diagram to get an idea of the categories and the primary causal factors, because these are also going to need to go into your spreadsheet. So if we take a look over here, I'll see that in this diagram, tools and machines was an example of a category, and interlocks was an example of a primary causal factor. So if you have a producer who's helping you, this stuff could actually get populated into that template spreadsheet as the workshop is taking place. If not, however, taking a look at this to get those categories and causal factors ready so that you can plug in your data is really important. So what you see here is that I have entered in the categories. We have people, culture, processes, and tools and machines closer to the bottom, etc. So I've entered these in the category column, and then the primary root causes for each, like fatigue, mental health, age, and management for the people category, are in the appropriate column. My next step, of course, is to put the participant responses in the appropriate columns and rows for each factor and, of course, for each person. If I go back over to my other spreadsheet at this point, I'll notice that it's pretty straightforward to get through this. Here I have the responses for one of the people category factors that were listed. And because I entered in each person's name in order, and they're in that recurring order as we go down the list, I'll be able to enter in their information relatively easily just by typing in the numbers and hitting the tab key. So my first step then will be to find the answer on fatigue, which I know was a people related item, and all of the categorical questions will show up to the right of each other as we move along. So I see that all of the people related questions are up here, and of course the process ones are underneath, and so on and so forth. So my next piece then would be to find the question, fatigue here, related to my first category, and enter these numbers in. So I have 5, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 4. So being very careful, of course, in making sure that I've entered in the information correctly is of the utmost importance. And you can see here that I've populated these in for fatigue, and it also gives me the average for what the ratings were among all of my participants. So this comes in handy, of course, during your debrief. The other thing too I'll point out to you is that these additional columns in the template now have information that's also relevant. So if I can determine whether or not it's considered a high, medium high, or a lower risk, you'll see that I have a certain number of people who responded with the highest score. So 3 of them here. 3 of them gave it a count of 4 out of 5 points, which is pretty important. And of course, the last one gave it 1. So I can see that all of my people then consider this to be a very, very high hazard. So now in preparation for the next step of your root cause analysis workshop with participants, you're going to want to pinpoint the top 10 primary causal factors that create hazards based on respondent perceptions of these root causes. There's a very simple way to do this that I'm going to show you in Excel now, and you have to begin by selecting the averages for all of the responses that you plugged in. So you'll notice that I'm at the very top under fatigue, and if I drag my values down to select all of the numbers, I have all of them here. I'm going to get Excel to highlight for me the top 10 numbers. If I go up to the Home tab in Excel and I click on Conditional Formatting, I navigate down to Top Bottom Rules, and I select Top 10 Items and click on OK. You'll now see that 10 of these cells have been highlighted in red with the highest numbers of them all. These would be the ones that I would bring back to start working on controls with my participants in the next workshop. So this is your crash course then on how to populate the Excel template and of course retrieve the polls from Zoom. I hope that you found it helpful. If you have any questions, never hesitate to reach out.